Hola, buenos dias. So today we're starting with our new unit, which is school supplies, útiles escolares. And we have an essential question for this unit. And we'll learn this essential question because we'll repeat it over and over and over again. So our essential question for this unit is, ¿qué tienes en la mochila? ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Now, if I tell you that ¿qué tienes means what do you have? And you read that sentence, ¿qué tienes en la mochila? And ¿qué tienes means what do you have? What do you think ¿qué tienes en la mochila means? That's right. It means what do you have in your backpack? So you should have a paper that looks like this, just like this, if you were able to print it out. If not, you're going to have to take a blank piece of paper. You're going to have to write ¿qué tienes en la mochila on your paper. And then I want everybody to, underneath that, write in English, what do you have in your backpack? Okay, so do that right now. Or book bag, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. So if you're writing it on a blank piece of paper, write ¿qué tienes en la mochila? What do you have in your backpack? If you were able to print out this paper, and where it says at the top, ¿qué tienes en la mochila? You're going to write, what do you have in your backpack? Now, you're going to be keeping this paper for the next 6 weeks, more or less, that we'll be going over this unit. So see how I wrote it here? Just right here underneath, ¿qué tienes en la mochila? You're going to write, what do you have in your backpack? So that you remember that ¿qué tienes en la mochila means what do you have in your backpack. Now let's practice saying that a couple times. We're going to practice it 3 times. Ready? ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? You should be saying it at home. ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Okay, one more time. ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? And that's our essential question. We're going to ask it over and over again, okay? Now, if ¿qué tienes means what do you have, and you answer that by saying tengo, what do you think tengo means? That's a thinking question. So if ¿qué tienes means what do you have, and la mochila means in your backpack, but ¿qué tienes means what you have, and you answer that by saying tengo, whatever, what do you think tengo means? Tengo means I have. Yo tengo or tengo means I have. Good. So right on your paper where it says tengo, I want you to write I have underneath it. Okay, so your paper should look like this. Now, if you're just writing on a blank piece of paper, then you have to write tengo just like it is up here, and then write I have. Okay, so just because you couldn't print it out doesn't mean you don't have to do it. Just means you have to do it on a blank piece of paper, okay? All right, so here I have my backpack that I would bring with me, okay, with all my school and desk supplies. And you probably have a lot of these at home, okay? So we're going to be going over them. Now, there's about 11 or 12 on your paper. Crash. But also, on the computer game we play, there's even more than that you'll have to learn. Okay, so we're going to start with the first one. So I want you to ask me your essential question. ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Everybody ask me, ¿qué tienes en la mochila? Good, and I'm going to take out the first one. And this is kind of a foggy bag, but I'll even take it out of the bag. I keep all my stuff in bags because if students have to come up and take them out, I don't want everybody touching everything, right? We don't want to share our germs. So, this is a piece of chalk. And in Spanish, we say la tiza. La tiza. La tiza rhymes with pizza. That's how a lot of kids remember it. La tiza. This is the cloudy bag of tiza. Okay. La tiza. Repita, la tiza. Good. La tiza rhymes with pizza. That's a good way to remember it. A lot of kids remember it that way, okay? So on your paper where you have the chalk, you're going to write la tiza. La tiza. Now, if you don't have a paper with chalk on it, guess what you have to do? You have to draw chalk. But what's nice about that is you can be creative. I'm going to draw a little chalkboard I'm going to just draw a chalk down here. Okay. And that's my chalk down here on the chalkboard. And I'm going to write La Tiza. So you can either have one that's printed out and write La Tiza, or you can draw a picture of chalk and write La Tiza. Okay, next vocabulary word, you're going to ask me, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Ask me, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Oh, tengo las tijeras, las tijeras. Repitan, las tijeras. Good, and tijeras are scissors. Good. So on your paper, where you have your scissors, you're going to write las tijeras, just like it is up here. Or on your paper, you can draw a picture of your own scissors. I'm just going to draw 2 circles and like a point. And I'm going to write las tijeras. Okay? So however you want to do it, you can be creative. I know that that's scissors. You don't have to be a great artist. Okay. Or on your paper, I already did for you, you're just writing las tijeras. Okay? So everybody should have that. We're going on to the next one. The next one is probably the most fun one to say. So you're going to ask me, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? And I'm going to say, tengo el sacapuntas. El sacapuntas. That's a fun one to say. It's a sharpener, for those of you who can't tell. Some of you might even have this sharpener. And again, I have everything in plastic bags, so in Spanish, we say, el sacapuntas. El sacapuntas. Good. So on your paper, where you have a picture of the sharpener, you're going to write el sacapuntas. That's a long word. El sacapuntas. If you don't have a paper, you're going to draw el sacapuntas on your resource paper. Okay? And just do the best you can. See? That's mine. And I wrote el sacapuntas. Okay? Alright, the next one is a pretty easy one to remember. It's only 5 letters. So everybody ask me, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Tengo la regla, la regla. Notice I'm rolling my R, because in Spanish, when a word starts with R, you roll your R. La regla. So a good way to remember this one is ruler and regla. Both start with R. I don't know if that helps you. Okay, so on your paper, find your ruler. And you're going to write la regla, la regla. Now, if you don't have a paper, you're going to draw la regla. So if you weren't able to print one out, you just be creative and draw it. Okay, and even if we were to play Pictionary, you would need to draw them anyway. So just do the best you can, okay? We would definitely always play Pictionary. Okay, now the next one, there's a couple ways to say this, depending on what country you're in. Okay, but we're going to say it the way the computer says it. So ask me in Spanish, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? ¿Qué tienes en la mochila, señor Fernandez? And I'm going to say el pegante, el pegante. Now, I always feel bad for this one because no one ever remembers this one. So I say it like I feel bad for it. Aw, el pegante. Because nobody ever remembers it. I feel bad for it. So in some Spanish-speaking countries, they say el pegamento. In other Spanish countries, they say la goma. In other Spanish countries, they say la pega. But we're going to say el pegante because that's what they say on the computer program that we use, okay? But you could say any of those. They're all correct. So I always feel bad for this one, so I say, aw, el pegante, because nobody ever remembers this one. Okay, so on your paper, where you have a picture of the glue, you're going to write el pegante. If you don't have a paper printed out, you're going to draw el pegante. Okay. Mine just kind of looks like that. Again, isn't art class, it's Spanish class, so that's okay. All right. So the next one is pretty easy. I'll give you guys a second to finish that one. And you're going to ask me in Spanish, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? And I'm going to say, tengo el lápiz. El lápiz. That is a pencil. Good. So in Spanish, we say, oops, I forgot el pegante. Oh my goodness, you guys didn't remind me. Sorry, you have to write el pegante first. I'll give you minutes to do that. My bad. Okay, so Lisa-Fernandez. Okay, you can always just pause the video. We're going to go to the next one. El lápiz, el lápiz. So find el lápiz on your paper. And on your paper, you're going to write el lápiz. And if you don't have a paper printed out, you're just going to, what? Draw el lápiz. That's my picture. Not a great pencil, but you know what it is. El lápiz. All right, the next one is kind of a funny one. The kids always have fun saying. And I'll tell you why. Okay? Because it sounds like two funny words in Spanish. So, now I want you to ask me, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Ah, tengo la grapadora. La grapadora. Now, you know why this one's funny? Because kids always tell me it sounds like Grandpa and Dora. Like Grandpa Dora. So that's a funny way to remember this one. So, la grapadora. La grapadora. So if you have this on your paper, you're going to write la grapadora under yours. Okay? And if you don't have paper, you're going to draw a picture of a stapler. Literally my stapler. And you're going to write la grapadora. Okay, so that's funny. So that's a funny way to remember that one. Grandpa Dora. Grapadora. If that helps you, go for it, okay? Okay, the next one is an important one. When you go to 5th grade, Señora Carvajal will be your Spanish teacher, and she'll tell you, students, saquen un lápiz y el cuaderno. And she's going to expect you to know what that means. So we already know lápiz is a pencil. So next one we're going to do, ask me in Spanish, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Tengo el cuaderno, which is a notebook. For whatever reason, kids have a hard time saying this word. So this sound right here in Spanish is qua, qua. Like in Spanish, a duck doesn't say quack, quack. It says qua, qua. Okay? So, el cuaderno. El cuaderno. Try saying that at home. Cuaderno. Cuaderno. Good. So write that down now. El cuaderno. El cuaderno. And if you don't have one, well, you know what you need to do now. You have to write it and draw it on your paper. Here's, I'm going to make my cuaderno blue. Azul. And basically, I just made it look like that. El cuaderno. Okay, three more. All right, the next one is for big mistakes. Ask me in Spanish, ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Tengo el borrador. El borrador. It's an eraser. So some kids remember this one because they said it sounds like a border around a door. Borrador. Whatever helps you remember el borrador. That's up to you. Ooh, notice I rolled my R's again. You know why? Because there's 2 R's together in Spanish. When there's 2 R's together or there's an R at the beginning of the word, you roll your R. El borrador. Okay? All right, so you're going to write el borrador on your paper. And somebody asked me, Senora Fernandez, why is something la or el or las? That just means the in Spanish. So, el and la mean the. Okay, let me see. I'm going to draw an eraser. I'm going to draw a half pink, half black. Okay? And so you're going to draw it if you don't have it on your paper. When you have it on your paper, you're just going to write el borrador. Okay. 2 more. 2 más. All right, ask me in Spanish. ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? See how many times we already asked this question? You guys are already getting it. Ready? Tengo el marcador. Marcador. Kind of sounds like marker. Marcador. Right? El marcador. Good. So on your paper, write el marcador. Sorry about that. El marcador. And if you don't have one, you're going to draw one. You might draw like the cap. Certain color like that. El marcador. Good. And the last one is the easiest one to say. I think of all these, it's the easiest one to say. So everybody, ask me in Spanish. ¿Qué tienes en la mochila? Tengo la cinta. La cinta. Cinta. Now, somebody told me in Portuguese, cinta means belt. Actually, in some Spanish-speaking countries, too. And also, cinta also means like a ribbon that you would put in your hair. So, but for today, cinta also means tape. So I used to have a student named Cindy. And her class never had a problem remembering this word. Why not? Right, because Cinta and Cindy start with the same 3 letters. Okay, so everybody on your paper, write La Cinta. La Cinta. Good. Okay, a lot of vocabulary too. So if you don't have the paper printed out, you can just draw La Cinta on your own piece of paper. Okay, now there is a little line at the top corner of this. Write your name. You're going to need this paper for the next 6 weeks. So don't lose it. Put it in your Spanish folder. Write your name on it. Do whatever you got to do so you don't lose it, okay? All right. So now, remember I told you that not only did we have these words, but we also have a website we use, Online Free Spanish, right? What is this? Sorry about that. And our website has additional vocabulary words, so let's go over those. Sorry, I was looking up invitations for my daughter's quinceañera, which is a big party celebrate when girls are turning 15. So here in the U.S. we celebrate Sweet 16, but Hispanic families a lot of times celebrate something called quinceañera. So that's what I was looking at for my daughter's quinceañera. Okay, and you're going to be going over some other vocabulary. I think they're in level 2. Well, let me just double check. And of course, on your lessons, I will always put the link, so you don't have to go looking for the vocabulary. Oh no, sorry about that. I probably, in hindsight, should have had this opened up ready to go, but I was more concerned with getting the PowerPoint to work on this smart TV, and it did. Okay, so these are the school supplies you're going to need to know for all the games. So there's even more, and we're about 20 minutes in, so I'm just going to go through them real quick. We're not going to repeat them or anything. I'm just going to show them to you, and we'll use them a different day. Okay? So I don't want you to have too much time waiting for Senora Fernandez to go over the vocabulary words, because you also have to learn the ones we just went over. So we'll practice those a lot. Those are the ones you need to know. And then we'll add these additional ones for when we're playing games. Okay? We turn the volume up. All right. So these are the school supplies. Los útiles escolares. And the first one is a pen. You could say lapicero for pen, but this one says
el bolígrafo.
El bolígrafo. El bolígrafo. This one I don't teach because it's so easy.
Los colores.
Los colores.
El borrador.
El borrador.
El compás.
El compás. A lot of kids don't know what this is.
Compás.
It's called a compass, but not for like looking and trying to find where you're going. It's a compass for drawing a circle. You might use it in art class or math class. This one's a hard one to say, but it looks just like English, so I also don't ever make you guys learn this one because it's kind of obvious. Ready?
La calculadora.
La calculadora. Next one. Oops.
La crayola.
La crayola looks just like Crayola.
La cinta.
La cinta.
El cuaderno.
El cuaderno.
La grapadora.
La grapadora. Ooh, this one.
El pincel.
El pincel. So I always teach you the word lápiz first because if I taught you pincel first, what would everybody confuse that for? A pencil, right? Because it looks just like the word pencil. But is it a pencil? No, it's a paintbrush. So the word for pencil is
El lápiz.
el lápiz.
El lápiz. La regla.
La regla.
El marcador.
El marcador.
El sacapuntas.
El sacapuntas.
El pegante.
El pegante. Or pegamento or goma.
Las tijeras.
Las tijeras. So we'll be playing a lot of games with these vocabulary words. So I just wanted to show them to you guys right now. Okay? All right, good. Okay, so that was all for today. We're 22-minute lessons, so you only have about 8 minutes left. So I know that I have another activity for you, so I'm going to let you go now because that was a lot of information. Go play a fun game, and I'll see you guys next week. Adios.